Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about something that maybe some of you relate to in a great way. When I started doing this mindfulness work about 5 years ago, I kept looking at ways I could change my world. It was almost like if I just change everything outside of me, change my world, the way I work, the people I hang out with, the things that I do, the experiences I have, constantly, everything on the outside that I could change that would eventually change my insides. I even went through a phase where I really dropped the number of days I was working to very little, thinking that if I did that, it was an experiment for myself, that would actually change the insides. And guess what? It was a perfect experiment because I had the ability to be able to change a lot of my external circumstances. I have a lot of support from my husband. He kind of gives free range for me to do what I want, which I'm lucky and grateful for. And I tried to experiment with how I could change the things outside of me and what effect that would have for my insides. So I tried and I tried. And guess what? Sometimes you could change certain things on the outside that will have profound changes on your inside. For example, there was certain procedures in dentistry that I really got anxious doing. I stopped doing those and that helped. However, there was a lot of other things that I changed that had zero effect on how I felt. So therefore, over time, I realized that it's actually changing your outside is not the key to changing your insides. So there's a Iranian poet, long gone, by the name of Rumi, R-U-M-I. And he's been known to say amazing quotes, and one of them I'm going to share with you, and amazing poems. And the poem goes something like this. Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I am wise, so I'm changing myself. And that was written long time ago. But the contemplation there is that that changing our outside world can only have so much effect on changing what's going on inside. That hard work that we have to do about changing our insides, that's work that we got to do. And no one can do it for us. So I used to also rely on what other people thought and said. So I kept serving the people around me. You know, what do you think? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing more mindfulness? You know, what about this? And I was so easily influenced by what people said around me. Now, a lot of people say that has to do with women, that women have been socialized and tend to actually look for external support for decision making and support for making changes in their life. That is a generalization. It's not all women, but it has been written and talked about that maybe we're socialized differently and we look at our externals for approval and for decision making. Now, that's not a bad thing. When I was younger, if I didn't have the guidance and love of my family, my parents, to help point me in the right direction, I may not have been where I am today. So I'm not saying you never take advice. However, at some point a shift has to happen where we start to actually find that voice in us that knows what's best for us. So if you're in that boat where you're at a point that you know what's best for you, I urge you to dig deep and find that voice, because sometimes whatever's happening on the outside, that's not going to change anything. Sometimes you got to look inside and find that voice. And until you do, you're sort of imprisoned in others' beliefs and others' wants of what you think or should have, and not truly following your own heart. So I think it's a very worthwhile exercise to sit with some loving compassion exercises, hand on the heart, and really just allowing yourself and allowing your voice to come out. A beautiful exercise in this, and I did this probably about a year ago, I wrote a letter to myself. And so that letter was very detailed, and it was a letter about what my desires were for my life. And I typed them out. And since a year ago, I've gone back to that letter at least 3 times to really find that voice and remember what it was like to just fully express the desires and the wants that I had. So I urge you, if you're in that position, that the sooner you find your own voice, the more your life will roll and unfold in the way that's meant for you. So I hope you join me tomorrow for another video. Take care.